Hello. Today I will be featuring the Khabarovsk once more, this time with a bit of an updated build on it. Now, first of all, I'm also featuring the heal in this game. Now, I'm actually in a division, and I didn't mean to be using the heal, because obviously the heal is a very selfish consumable, and you're much more valuable to your division as a DD if you have a smoke. But I didn't notice I had the heal selected until the game actually started, and considering I haven't actually uploaded any gameplay with me using the heal, I figured what the hell, might as well make this the feature of the commentary game where I use the heal instead of the smoke. Now, first of all, biggest problem right now is the Kagero, who spawned at A. He insisted on sailing all the way to B, which of course makes absolutely no sense considering he was actually needed to scout A for us. As a Russian DD, of course, like a Khabarovsk, you cannot push into the cap yourself. You shouldn't, in fact, even contest caps. You shouldn't go into caps. You're much better off backing up your friendly DDs. In this case, I'm helping out the Fletcher in case someone comes and fights, and I'm kind of going where cruisers kind of don't dare to, but I don't go as deeply as a destroyer does, a normal destroyer, because of course the Khabarovsk is more of a light cruiser than anything else. Of course, you might notice I have the 3-minute speed boost, much like on the Kiev. I recommend you use that speed boost on the Khaba, the 3-minute upgrade that you get from rank 9, since it's very valuable on Russian DDs. So I use the speed boost, try to get to sea as quickly as possible. I notice we have some guys going there, and of course it appears that they are both radar ships, so they are basically going to the absolute worst possible position they could. A Baltimore and a Missouri going to sea when none of the enemies are going to sea means that 2 of our radars are going to be completely out of position and completely useless. So in order to make sure that these guys will quickly push into position, I'm gonna speed through sea and instantly just rush into their spawn, and hopefully that will give them enough balls to push in after us. Now, this game is pretty terrible for a Khabarovsk, mostly because, well, not only does it have a lot of DDs in it, which of course is something you don't actually want as a Khaba, because there's plenty of people who can ambush you and torp you and all these things you don't enjoy. Not just that, but there's actually a Cyclone about to hit. And Cyclones are always an issue for Russian DDs, mostly because Russian DD game style, your optimal distance from a target is usually anywhere between 10 km and your max range. That's the distance you want to be. And Cyclone forces you to go within 8 km, and you will be spotted as soon as you are, and you might run into cruisers, battleships, whatever, that will highly punish you. So that's of course a huge downside. Cyclones in general just mess with Russian DDs a lot. Another issue is of course the fact that I run heal, which is even worse, because now if I run into someone in a Cyclone, I won't be able to smoke up to defend myself. In fact, I don't have the option at all. So my only option is to just keep full speed at all times, never slow down, just make sure that my maneuverability alone will keep me alive. This Minotaur picks a fight with me, which is stupid. At this range, with Minotaur floaty shells, there's no way he's going to be able to hit anything on me, whereas of course I can quite comfortably hit him. I mean, you can nail DDs at this range, hitting a Minotaur isn't exactly hard. He finds this out, and focusing on me, who also gets hit by citadels in the broadside, so he kinda shits his pants and starts fleeing. And I switch back to the Missouri. The Missouri is actually their main... The reason why I push this way is not just, of course, to get the Missouri and Baltimore on my team moving, even if the Baltimore is dragging his feet, and, well, so is kind of the Missouri as well, but it's mostly I also want this enemy Missouri out of position, because this is, of course, a radar ship. We have multiple DDs, and we are trying to hold B. And a radar ship like the Missouri can easily push into B, because, well, that radar is so strong, the ship itself when angled is so strong, and since they are already pushing towards B, the enemy that is, this guy can cause a massive nightmare for our team with the radar. So I pick a fight with him, and I force him out of position. And considering I have a really hard time really doing anything else right now on the map, this is probably the best use of my time right now. I'm fast enough that I can kind of afford to go off position, like go off the resort, so to say, and keeping a radar battleship away from the central fight and at the same time pretty much killing him is of course very valuable. so I don't mind doing this at all. An Atago, why is there an Atago here? He's reversing? What the hell am I watching? See, this, I can only assume this is a bot. This is the only thing that, this is the one of the few times I could probably say with confidence, but I don't understand why would a bot be programmed to reverse though, and in an Atago. This just confuses me. He is full speed reversing into the border. His guns are aiming at me. His guns are aimed at me. The Cyclone hits now, which is of course a huge issue. Now of course when you get broadside on cruisers with the Khaba, AP, absolutely AP. You notice this is pretty much a pretty great example of how quickly angling reduces your damage if you're fighting a cruiser though. You see we drop from 2k and then we go, as soon as we start seeing angles, you see how drastically my damage is dropping. I'm getting bounces and shatters now. The damage basically drops to 0 as soon as you get past that one angle. So I switched to HE at this point. And it looks like a Shimakaze has been using this time to close the distance with me. I do start a fire. And I land some torps. He should be dead then. I don't know what that guy, I can only assume bot or AFK or whatever. And the Shima is actually, and the Ognivoy are both shooting at me. In fact, I got 3 people aiming at me, the Missouri as well, and I got torps going my way that I had to dodge. So this is a situation where being able to smoke up, because those torpedoes were nasty, not because they almost hit me, but because they forced me to slow down. My only way of really dodging them was to slow down heavily, because I didn't want to turn into the smoked up DD. That's of course suicide. But the torps forced me to kill my speed, and when you don't run smoke, you only run heal. Speed is really your only defense. So being forced to slow down there actually cost me a lot of HP, and then I got quite unlucky. The Missouri I was harassing earlier, he just landed an AP penetration on me. So I'm down to 6k HP, but I've been saving my heals because, well, no point wasting them on small amounts of damage. But you want to be really careful with your heals. You want to use them when you can get the max value out of them if you do use the heal build. Once again, I consider the smoke build better, especially if things like Cyclone hits. But if you are using the heal build, try to make the most out of the heal. Don't waste the heals too quickly. The Khaba is pretty good at disengaging, so you can easily move away and heal up when needed. And the cooldown, especially if you use premium heal, isn't that long that you need to be using them as soon as you lose any HP at all. Anyway, I'm gonna turn back in. My heal is almost up, the Missouri has sailed away, and of course the Cyclone is now in full power. The 8 km visibility is here. Bismarck guns are turned away, so I obviously pick a fight with him. He is pushing into the rest of our team. Setting a few fires on him on the way in is always good. Fletcher and gearing there. I focus on the gearing, of course. Easier target to hit. Sailing my way. Bigger threat. Well, bigger threat can be argued between him and the Fletcher, but he's a fat, easy target to nail. So I focus him down first. And, well, the game is pretty even. Those kills actually help it out quite a bit. And here's the Shima that smoked up earlier to pick a fight with me. I get the torpedo warning, turn hard left. Of course I use rudder shift on the Khaba, not just because of speed boost. It's of course much better if you use heal, since you will be on the move all the time. But I just think the rudder shift is more valuable than the acceleration to begin with. And the Shimakaze grounds. I assume he's smoking up since I'm losing vision of him. The game isn't really that good at rendering smokes when they do and don't appear. Well, now he's definitely smoking up. So I'm just gonna drop some torps in there and I'm gonna keep closing the distance. There's an Ognivoy on my left. I don't know if I can reach him. But this Missouri that has been dragging his feet from all this time, it's taken the Missouri this long to make it all the way to B. And I assume he's the one who's now popping the radar and giving us vision. So he dragged his feet, but at least he knows how to press that one consumable button, so which of course allows me to finish off the Shimakaze. He panicked grounds, but it doesn't really matter, he would have died anyway. And well, sadly I couldn't really be there for the rest of my team once again. If you don't have smoke, when you're in division, it's hard time being that useful for your team or for your division mates, and that's of course why I highly value smoke above the heal. Worth noting here though is that I am in this build, I've changed my build of course. I am running, of course you see priority target, which has been quite useful here, lets me know when multiple people are targeting me, and not only that, but I'm also running adrenaline rush. And not only is it really good when you run heal, it's of course also very good when you can smoke up, or if you got buddies who's got smokes who you can lend, because, well, your rate of fire becomes quite insane. In fact, if you look at my gun reload, we are down to, what, 3 point something? Let me check that. 3.6 seconds maybe reload. So that's of course 3.8 I think it was. So that's of course a significant increase. And as you can see, even though I was down to 6k at one point, I've been fighting since then and I'm already back over 10k HP. I am radared and I was targeted for a second, but the Missouri is out of position to actually fight me, and he's so low that I am gonna see if I can go actually hunt him down. The Cyclone is of course still in effect, and the reason I selected this game because, well, it was pretty much a nightmare scenario for the Khabarovsk. Not just lots of DDs on the enemy team and radar cruisers or radar ships, but also the fact that it was a Cyclone when you were playing Khaba with heal, which is of course the worst possible combination. I do however manage to finish off the kill, and I do get the Kraken from it, so ultimately a good game. I mean, the damage isn't the most special, 169k, but considering how much time I spent fighting the deities and such, I don't mind it at all. I still consider it a good game, because any game where you come out alive and with a good score when you end up getting a Cyclone as a Russian deity is a good game. So I'm ultimately quite happy with the result. My team ended up getting killed. Meanwhile, of course, we had multiple full HP ships on our team. For example, the Missouri and the Baltimore, I think Montana and Amagi were also almost full HP. They of course all sat in the back, as people tend to do, so my team had to tank the brunt of the damage. Of course they got rewarded in XP respectively. And the detailed report, 1 million potential damage, and yeah, I mean, I tanked 25k damage. That's not that much. You can tank significantly more, but I took a lot of AP shells. In fact, the Missouri was the one who did 14k to me with 8 beam, which is of course what greatly hindered my progress here. Still a good game, and well, not really as much else to it. Let's move on to my new recommended build for this ship. Alright, starting off, module wise, of course, you want to use the 10km torps, not the 6km ones, because they are so limiting, especially when your spotting range is 8.7. You're unlikely to be using them much. Damage control premium, heal premium if you do use it, or smoke premium, depending on which one. I of course recommend the smoke much more, but if you do use the heal, then make sure it's at least a premium one. And finally, engine boost. I use premium because I have always also an upgrade invested in it. Main armaments mod 1, aiming systems mod 1, the rank 9 reward, main battery 3 and then the rank 9 reward, which is of course engine boost mod 1 for the 3-minute speed boost, rudder shift and concealment. Without the concealment module, well, no point even calling it the DD anymore. Preventive maintenance, order of importance, last stand, and after last stand I would probably get survivability expert if you're leveling a new Russian DD, that's very useful. AFT, used on pretty much all Russian DDs. Then I would probably get demolition expert, followed by adrenaline rush, since that's kinda basic firing training combined with torpedo reload, priority target, and then as my last 3 points I do prefer having superintendent over basic firing training. First of all, adrenaline rush makes up for not having basic firing training, and superintendent is great with both heal and smoke. The idea of this build is of course that you can switch between heal and build as you wish, and you don't have to switch your build out. You either have 4 smokes and you play a bit more smoke heavy, or you have 4 heals, which is of course something you want. So ultimately this build is designed to work with either heal or smoke and still be a optimal experience, so to say. Anyway, that was my Khabarovsk build. I hope you enjoyed it.